good afternoon and welcome to the increasingly inappropriately named Live 605. Why? Because it's actually 3:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Yes, we're still in lockdown. We're still in lockdown. I'm exhausted. But I'm here to lift your spirits. If you're watching this show for the very first time, type new below in the comments, whether you're on Facebook. You could be watching me through my own personal Facebook profile, through the Stray Whisker business page on Facebook. And of course, we're streaming live and shooting out through to YouTube, through Shave the Man, and of course, through Stray Whisker TV. And with all of that happening, all is great with the world, I would have to say. Doesn't matter where you're watching us from. I know there are people that are watching us from overseas. Welcome. Enjoy your freedom, your perceived freedom. Who was it? I think it was Jean-Jacques Rousseau who said, "Man is born free, and yet everywhere he is in chains. But we shall attempt to unshackle you from those chains." I'm your host, as I said, Concast and Zetas, Shave the Man, or should I say, not shaved the man. It's an experiment, okay? We love experiments on this show, and I'm going to put myself through it. Forget Big Brother experiments and things on TV. This is where the new reality TV is happening, right here and now. Paul Phillips, good afternoon, bearded one. Do you think I could score a part in a Star Wars, franchise film at the moment? I mean, I know that's a Disney thing, but do you think I could score a role in one of the Star Wars films? Remember Star Wars when it was just 3 films, and now it's become a franchise? Anyway, I digress. I so easily digress. I digress because we're here to talk about all sorts of things. We've got Q&As happening this afternoon. We're going to talk about grading and evaluating things and how I think, personally, spoiler alert, that it is futile. It's a futile exercise to basically grade things. A big hello to Stuthy. Yes, new for today. Good afternoon. Solo today. Helen sends her regards remotely. Send my love to Helen. Thank you very much, Stuthy. That's very kind of you to tune in to our live 3:30 jive. I don't know. It doesn't rhyme. I don't know what it is. I'm not quite sure exactly what I can do with this. It's a good format because what it means is that I can fulfill the orders and then get out of here very, very quickly, and I don't stick around till 6:05, which is okay. I don't mind doing that. That's fine. So feel free to ask questions after I go through the little spiel, because I really would like to get your opinion on what we're going to be discussing today. Jacob Jensen, good morning from Denmark. It is 7:33 a.m. Yes, of course. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate that. You're watching us from YouTube. Hello, Lisa Solly. Hi. How you going, Lisa? Lisa is the reporter with the mostest, the hostess with the mostest. She is a budding young journalist, and I've been a fan of hers for years. In fact, I was a fan of her when she was born. Okay, it's nepotism, so what? Deal with it. Thanks for joining into the live, Lisa. I really appreciate you joining the madness. I mean, we talk about all sorts of things, shaving and all the rest of it, but it doesn't matter. You get where we're coming from. These things have general applicability. They're things that we can relate to all sorts of things. And particularly today, when we're going to be talking about evaluating and grading products. Quite often we hear that people review a product and they give it a 4-star, 5-star, 3-star, 1-star, thumbs down, thumbs up. What does that mean? Does it have any real meaning? I mean, this is the thing that I want to drill down and explore today. When somebody, for example, let's say, reads a novel and gives it 3 out of 5, tells us that they didn't really enjoy the novel. It's telling us more about the reviewer than it is about the book. It's just telling me what you think of the book. Not really much else. And that's okay. I know there are authors that don't read their own reviews. They'll put out a book and they don't want to read the reviews because it could probably destroy them, and they'll never, ever put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard ever again. It's one of those things. People are very sensitive. They can be sensitive. But if you put yourself out there, it doesn't matter whether it's in written form, in electronic form, you've got to be able to just roll with the punches. Time to hydrate. This is just acqua de minerale oligofrizzate. There's no frizz in it at all. It's just water that's flat as a tack. Make sure you drink water. It's important. This is why I don't look a day over 84. Water does it. It hydrates the skin, makes things look really, really nice. And it's a very, very important thing. And of course, I'm also drinking my espresso. Leon, good day. How are you? How are you, Leon? Nice of you to join us. I really appreciate you joining us again on this live. And if you missed it earlier, we're going to be talking about evaluating products. And I'm going to talk specifically about the sort of evaluations I did in a previous life as Shave the Man with that shaving channel. And a lot of people, myself included, would look forward to putting out these reviews of products and talk about what I thought about a particular product. I understand the whole process and the notion of wanting to read a review because it gives you information and it allows you to make an informed decision about whether you wish to purchase a particular product. I get it. We all need to hang something up on a point that we can then use as a reference point and say, oh, well, if Con didn't like this, I may not like it. Not that Con's... Remember, reviews are subjective, completely subjective. So don't get caught up in this whole... okay, unless you're getting, 2 rotten tomatoes for your film or you're getting 1 star for your book, then generally speaking, you've got to sort of, ride with it and make up your own mind. A lot of people have sent me emails, they've sent messages to me over the years. I'm not going to say they did that yesterday, although I could just say that the phones are ringing off the hook and we've been inundated with people asking questions, have asked why I don't do any of these review videos anymore. And it's a good question. It's a good question. It was of a time, but I need to sort of drill down and tell you exactly why and why my views around all of this has changed. You need to know why my views have changed, and perhaps they could be of some assistance to you. Who else have we got there? A quick hello before we dive in. Tony, hello. How are you, Tony? Afternoon. Yes, keeping healthy and sane in lockdown. It's a challenge, Tony. Yeah, it's a challenge. Mental health is the most important thing you've got to keep in check. If you isolate and do what's required of you, then you're looking after that part of things. It's the mental side of things which I think can create some problems for people. Anyway, so let's get straight into this. When I evaluate a shaving soap or a cream or anything really, but we're talking specifically about soaps and creams, the first thing that most people look at, and this is it's a no-brainer really. It's you need to do it. It's just part of the game. Is you look at the ingredients. But one of the things I've got to say about ingredients is that these days I'm looking for things that I don't want to see in the ingredients list. Sure, a soap will generally have sodium or potassium hydroxide in it. There'll be glycerin in it. There'll be some sort of animal fat. There's a salt and a fat, which undergoes the saponification process and produces soap. Great. It's all the other little things that I'm looking for that I actually don't want to see in the product. For example, parabens, methyl parabens, fantastic, absolutely fantastic when it comes to creating shelf life for a product. Not so fantastic for human health or any health really. So they're pretty nasty. It's one of those things. So I look to see whether a particular product has got parabens in it. And if it does, I'm out. I try and sort of steer clear of that product. Will parabens kill you? Who knows? Over time, if you use them, then they could cause some problems. But they're the sorts of things that I look to see. All the other stuff that you find in ingredients, I would argue you probably don't know how that impacts the product. So if I said, for example, I'll pick up a product here at random. Okay, this is a shave gel, and it contains this. My eyesight's going. It's terrible. It contains cocamidopropyl butane. Now, do you know what that does for the whole shaving experience? No, really? What? You're not an industrial chemist? What about sodium hydroxymethylglycerin? Well, the glycerin's a giveaway there. It's basically glycerin. So I would argue that there are ingredients that we don't really know the function of. It might be part of the whole formulation that produces the end result, but hey, yeah, that's what I look at. I look for ingredients. And what I'm looking for is there are certain things that I do not wish to see in the ingredients list. I cannot claim that if it has a particular ingredient that's going to enhance the product. I know there are certain ingredients that should be there. For example, with shaving creams, myristic acid should be there. That's something that I always look out for. And I look at where it sits in the ingredients list. Beyond that, though, I'm not an industrial chemist. If you are, that's great, and you'll be able to make sense of it. And even if you are a chemist, you don't know the sort of ratios and proportions that have gone into that particular formulation. So you really can't make an informed decision. What you can say, though, is, I don't want this ingredient in my product that I'm going to put on my face, or, it's going to cross the skin barrier and it might cause some problems in the future. So they're the things that I look for. I look for things that I don't want to see there. If I find something that I don't want to see there, back to the shelf. For me, that's what I do, right? I can't claim to pick up a product and say, oh, yes, I know what that is. Now, if I don't know what it is and it's longer than 35 letters, then I need to, consult a resource that will tell me whether this is dangerous and everything, and then consult 2 or 3 other resources and see whether there is, say, consensus, because there's a lot of information, as we know, it's quite contentious, a lot of misinformation on the internet at the moment. So don't believe everything you read on the internet. Check across a number of sources and go to reputable ones if at all possible. So the first thing I look at when I evaluate a product is ingredients. You don't need a science degree to just look at ingredients. You just need to search for the things that you are comfortable having in a product that you're going to put on your face. That's it. Now, we're talking about shave soap. So obviously, one of the most important things for me has to be slickness. This is it. I mean, when it comes to soap, I want slickness. The soap needs to be slick. So if I'm in a scenario where I'm not going to be using it to test it, I just take a little bit of the product, rub it between my fingers and see what I'm getting there. If it starts to dry fairly quickly, that may present a challenge or a problem. Remember, of course, that during wet shaving, you're introducing water to the equation, so that adds to so you're actually taking part in some sort of, not really a chemical reaction, but there's a process, there's an activation process that occurs. So we want to get to slickness. But the old, sort of rubbing the finger test will generally give you some sort of indication. Best indication, of course, is to use the product. And slickness is the thing that I look for when I look at evaluating a particular soap. Now, in the past, I used to say all sorts of things, and I would give slickness a rating out of 10. It soon followed by a golf clap or a boo, or people would throw rotten tomatoes at the screen, or say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about." Whatever. But that's what it was. Okay, so slickness, very important. Slickness is very, very important when it comes to choosing a shaving soap or cream. The next thing, which is pretty important, is cushion and protection. Now, this is an interesting one because you can have a product that has very decent cushion and protection, but doesn't have the slickness. And that is something that I'm not going to say it's a contentious issue. There are beautiful soaps out there which produce these wonderful peaks and do all these wonderful things. They don't have the slickness, but have this cushiony effect. They feel quite nice and fluffy on the skin. They feel quite nice. Or conversely, they have the slickness, but the protection. They might be slick as, I won't say what. Yes, I just thought of a duck then. Okay, I just thought of a duck. I don't know. Don't think of a duck. What's the first thing you thought of? Anyway, so this is the thing that we look at. We look at sort of cushion and protection. In other words, do I feel that I'm getting some sort of protection when I'm bringing a blade to my face? That is important to me. So and mind you, when I'm doing this, I'll use the product at least 3, but I push it out to 4, 5, or even 6 times to be able to make some sort of informed decision as to whether I should carry the product or whether I will use it myself and continue to use it. So yes, cushion and protection is a very important thing. The other thing which may surprise some folks is scent. You'll note that it's 4th on the list for me. I love good scents, love it, absolutely enjoy it. Scents are great when you put your face in the tub and it fills the bathroom and all the rest of it, but it's not the main driver for me. Now, if I had all those other three characteristics that I mentioned before, the ingredients were all there, the slickness was there, the cushion, the protection was there, but the soap stunk. Yeah, and not in a good way. It stunk. I would probably not use it as much as okay, I'm going to mention a product, okay? But I can mention it because it no longer exists in that same formulation, and it is by one body shop. It was the Macaroot. That product to me was death. It was pond slime. I don't know what, it was terrible, 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 terrible. But it worked so well. It had really good slickness. It had excellent cushion and protection, but the product stunk, so I didn't use it as much. Recently, I purchased a tub of the Body Shop Macaroot product. The smell's gone, but so is the performance, in my opinion. It's nowhere near as good as it was before. It doesn't have that slickness. It doesn't have the cushion and protection. Still a good cream, but for me, I didn't find it didn't set the world on fire. The one that stunk did, though. Oh God, it stunk. It was bad. Time for some espresso. Okay, so scent. Scent's important. I know some people want to be able to be smelled 3 blocks away. If that's your thing, that's fine. Again, you need to consider that with the ingredients and whether these things are doing any good or harm to you. And so that's the thing that is a major consideration for me. First of all, when you're using the soap, you smell it, yes, but eventually, soon after, the soap scent is not what I'm looking at. Once I've got that lather on my face, is to make sure that I'm getting a really good shave. Okay, I know that the scent is great. I know that all of that stuff, but really when I'm using the product, it comes and it goes. It doesn't linger on. That's where, aftershaves and colognes come into play. But of course, we're only talking about shave soap and shave cream. The other thing I look at, and this to me is less important and probably the least important, is price. Okay, if somebody says to me, here's a great soap, it only costs $350 for a 100-gram tub, I might sort of reach for my wallet and make sure it's still there, that I haven't been robbed. Or I might say, yes, look, this is the product. This is what I want. I want this product. I like it. I've heard it's really good stuff. I'm going to drop the money for it, and I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to pay the price. It's fine. To me, this is the least important thing, but it's not something that's insignificant, right? It is significant. If somebody said to me, that soap there costs $350, you'll get a luxurious shave out of it. There is a point, a critical mass. You reach that point where beyond that, I can't justify to myself paying that sort of money for that product. I'd like to hear your opinion on that anyway. But the most important thing for me, regardless of, and this is probably why I mean, there are other reasons, but why I stopped doing soap reviews is that the key for me, the key criterion for me is how much did I actually enjoy the soap? Did I enjoy using this soap? Did I enjoy it? Was the whole experience enjoyable? Now, the experience is going to be enjoyable if the soap is slick. The experience is going to be enjoyable if the scent is there, if the cushion is there, if the protection is there, right? The price less so. You forget about price when you're in the bathroom and you're shaving. You just do. I mean, it is what it is, right? So that's the thing that I ask. So now I'd have to say to you, how does one do a review on a soap in a meaningful way to, let's say, Tony Ramirez that's out there watching this, that'll make sense to him? Now, Tony could say, look, this is great quality. I thought this was a great soap. I used it, it burnt my face. Didn't really think much of it, but anyway. It's great because it gets a conversation going, but essentially, for me, it's hard to quantify enjoyment, because enjoyment for me is a qualitative thing. There are quantities within that go to make up the whole experience, but for me, it became increasingly meaningless for me to give a soap a score of 8 out of 10. Because at that point in time, with that level of experience, using that particular razor, with that particular razor blade, on that particular day, with the growth that I had on my face and the amount of hydration, both internally and externally, that particular soap didn't perform very well. Therefore, I'm going to say it's an 8. It doesn't mean anything, because once you've hit 8, there's only 2 places to go up, and that's a 9 or a 10. Once you hit a 10, there's no headroom. It's nothing beyond a 10. And that becomes a bit tricky. It became tricky for me. It's not tricky for lots of other people, and there are people that say this is, So what I like talking about now is I really, really enjoyed this particular soap a lot. What about that soap? I didn't enjoy that as much, right? Now, I know that's wishy-washy, and I know it doesn't pin down the reviewer, but to me, if you think that's wishy-washy, I think giving something a score of 8 is wishy-washy, because I'll tell you what, there was a particular product, and I'm not going to mention what it is, it's there in my videos, that I gave a very decent review to that I now no longer agree with. I don't agree with that review. I should take the video down, but I leave it there to punish myself and say, what were you thinking? Well, I'll tell you what I was thinking. At that time, with that formulation, that was a good soap. That was fantastic. At that time. Today, I wouldn't think twice about that particular product. No snobbery. It's just that it just doesn't work. And they've changed the formulation. So I'm not talking about the same product anymore. So if I pin it down to, yes, this is the product I used, and this is the experience that I had, someone will jump in 4 years later and say, yeah, you're an idiot. Yeah, just an idiot. This product was terrible. It's cheap. It's nasty. They've cut corners. It's the tubs that it's in, are cheap. I can't have it. There's no scent anymore. It doesn't smell great. It's developed stearic acid spots on it. It looks like something a creature from the Black Lagoon. This is the product you were talking about? Well, I can't go back and say, look, addendum, or sorry, I've changed my mind. When the evidence changes, so does my mind, and all the rest of it. But you've got to just say, look, I really enjoy this soap, or I don't. The other thing is, I'm not going to review soaps, which is another thing, that I don't enjoy or that I don't rate. So I'm not going to get on and do a video about a product and say, this was 4 out of 10. Why do that? Speak to the person that made the soap, if they're an artisan, and they probably are. Just say, look, this didn't really work for me. If I put this review out, I know you want me to be honest, but if I'm honest, it's going to create controversy. Some people say any publicity is good publicity. I disagree. Help the person, work with the person behind the scenes, and make the experience an enjoyable one for everyone. That's it. I mean, that's really all I have to say about that. Let's go to your questions or comments. Steve Wilson, yes, Taylor Rob on Street, German Street is my favorite of all time. Amazing stand, amazing performance. Yes, I agree with you. And if somebody picks up that soap for the very, very first time, or that shaving cream for the very, very first time, and they haven't had any experience with wet shaving products, they will be blown away by this. They'll just smell it and go, wow, whoa, whatever. I like it. I tire of it from time to time. I'll go back to it. But for me, my relationship with German Street is one that distance makes the heart grow fonder. So the less I reach for it, the more I love it. Or if I reach for it too much, it's let's flex some French muscle here. Or as the French would say, familiarité engendre le mépris. Yes, familiarity breeds contempt. Change it. Rotate it, go through, use all sorts of products. Don't stick with the one, just move through. Rotate through, go through the products. But yes, I'd have to agree with you. That is a very, very, very easy sell. People smell that, they go, wow, amazing. And it just works. It works. Any other comments here? Still having, yes, good day, hello, yes, oh no, lockdown. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Lockdown is, well, it makes one grow a beard. I don't know, it's looking it's a bit scruffy. It's now at that scruffy stage, but I'm just going to let it go. There's little ones at the top here. Look at that. Look like a sea anemone soon. Eh? Look at that. I don't know. Yeah, it's like I've never seen myself in the mirror. It's shocking. Shocking in 1080p. Or is it 440? I think we're pushing out in 2K at the moment, or whatever the platforms are allowing us to do. Any questions, put them down below. If you don't have any questions, that's basically it. That's all I wanted to say. So I don't do reviews anymore because it's not, I got sick of it. You know, obviously I'm sitting in front of a camera now. It's not that I got sick of it. It's just that it became harder for me to make some sort of meaningful statement about the soap and not use what people wanted me to use, and that is a rating system that says, oh, I give this 3, I give that 5. I understand, I get it, I know. We are a ratings-driven society, world even. If something gets a bad rating, it's, you know, people say, whatever. To me, though, if something gets a middle-of-the-road rating, if something gets a 3, let's say, out of 5, again, this is arbitrary, I'm generally interested. It's piqued my interest because there are some people who think it's wonderful, so it's polarized people. And generally, I know this to be true of film and books. If a book polarizes, I might end up liking it, actually. You know, these things are of a time, and sometimes works of art, such as books and films and things, are born, they're not of their time. They're either well before their time or they're an anachronism. They belong somewhere else. But anyway, that's interesting. As for products, you know, it really is a subjective thing. Look like you're going to Woodstock with that hair and beard. Woodstock. Now, Leon, thank you. I don't know. Should I thank you? Are you insulting me, Leon? Are you saying that I was around during Woodstock? What are you saying, Leon? This is a good question. When you purchase off the web, you're asked to review. Yeah. So, in fact, I ask people to review. They buy something, they've used it, they say, what did you think of this? Didn't like it, or yes, I loved it, or, you know, whatever the case may be. What it does is it gives other people, an idea on, you know, whether this. So the reviews, so there's the star thing, which is an immediate, it's a visual cue. It basically says, here we go, this is a 5-star soap. Everyone says a 5-star soap. What that does, though, unfortunately, sometimes is it creates a level of very, very high expectations that sometimes aren't met when a purchase is made based on a review. And I know the reviews are very important. We love them. It's great. It's social proof. It tells people that the majority of people that have used this product like it, or the majority of the people that have used this product don't like it. They think it's terrible. Therefore, I'm going to stay away from it. Could you imagine if there were no reviews, but somehow people got on and said, oh, I really enjoyed this. I know it's very floral. It's very flowery. It's almost Woodstock. It's almost Woodstock. But as I say, we need to, you know, pin opinion and taste to some sort of standard that we can then make our mind up on. And this is just the way of the world. Plus, we're online quite a bit now. And so how do you make a purchase online? How do you know that what you're buying is great or mightn't work for you or whatever? Unfortunately, yes, Woodstock. Leon, I probably was around too, but I don't think I could have gone. Any other comments there? Hi, Brendan. Hope you're well, my friend. I know that you're certainly in lockdown. Lisa, do you have a go-to product? Need gift ideas for Father's Day? Depends. Is father watching? Can I DM you later? Got lots and lots of ideas. It's interesting. Generally, a lot of people, and I have to say, a lot of ladies jump on and say, need something for Father's Day, or need something for Christmas, or need something for a birthday. Can you help? It's either to solve a problem or to answer a question. And that's what stores should be doing for people. They should be trying to do those things. You know, solve a problem, answer a question. And somehow Father's Day seems to be a bit of a problem. There's only so many hankies and pairs of socks that you can buy for Dad. The other thing is committing them to shaving this particular way if they don't shave using a razor, or if they don't have, some of them might have a beard. Lisa, Dad might have a beard. a very nice beard too, I might add, then I would suggest something like a beard brush and a nice oil or a balm. I'm using a balm at the moment, it's beautiful, really nice. And I smell nasty. Yeah, I smell really good. So good. I need time alone in the bathroom when I put that stuff on. I need to please just clear the room. I need to help him preserve his Santa beard for Christmas. Do you like his beard? I actually like it too. I think it suits him. It's quite distinguished, you know. Forget Sean Connery. Dad, aka Sam, looks great with a beard. Yeah, so I would use oils can be a bit too much, but I think a nice balm would be great. Anyway, we'll hook up and I'll let you know what I think might be of a great of interest there. Brendan, usually, unless the base changes, most soaps of any brand will work for you. It's just the sense that change. Yeah, look, I've said this before elsewhere. There seems to be a convergence of products. You know, products need to behave in a certain way. They need to, when hydrated, they need to lather. They need to provide a cushiony, slick medium for which to bring the razor across your face and not hurt yourself and cut yourself, and produce a fine result. The differences are okay. You know, soap makers look at each other's ingredients. You know, someone puts in yogurt, another one put in bison fat, another one will put in this and that, whatever, all this sort of stuff. But they're not going to give their formulation away, nor should they. So there are differences that are done. There are tweaking and things that are done at the edges. But I think scent is important. But for me, the performance is critical. Scent is important, but when the performance is great and the scent is great, well, then I really enjoy the soap, and that's what it's about. For me, as I said, it's about enjoying, and I think, you know, that's, as I've said it before, it's one of those things. Who have we got there? Starthy. Right, yes, you can give someone the best or the worst of any object in the world. Their review may be totally different to the next person's or the exact same product or service. A connoisseur will come out with a different score than an... Is this a play on words, Starthy? Have you used this before? Yes, that's true. Look, if you jump on a product page and people have absolutely smashed it with 1-star reviews, you've got to ask the question. There are too many 1-star reviews, though. I ask the other question: why is this person or this business or that particular product getting 1-star reviews? Surely they can't all be on the same, you know, on the same. Maybe it's terrible, but sometimes, not always, but sometimes people write reviews because they may be vested in certain ways. You know, they could have an interest, or, you know, I hear that this happens. This is part of corporate espionage. People bag another product and they're the opposition or the competition. Anyway, reviews are important, but video reviews for me are no longer a part of my repertoire. I'd rather show you my beard on lives and see how it's growing. Brendan, yes, some scents usually involving pumpkin light up my face like a Christmas tree. Various different makers as well. Yeah. Pumpkin is one that I've heard of, and yes, pumpkin is an ingredient, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just tuning into this sort of stuff, there are soap makers that use pumpkin in their formulation. Clove is another one that will light me up like a Christmas tree. The other one I say, Taylor of Old Bond Street sandalwood for me is a flare-up. I can't use it. My face lights up too much. And that wasn't always the case. And I think I did a video on Taylors of Old Bond Street sandalwood, and it was fine then. And if I did the same video today, I'd just say, look, guys, it's not for me. It doesn't work. I don't know what they've done. They've changed the formulation. They've used a particular fragrance oil or whatever it is. It just doesn't work. Sorry, I don't like it. Yeah, so things change. Leon, oh, nice to see you here, Leon. I love it. This is what I'm about. I love this. Problem for me is overload of information regarding soap. So many options, especially from particular. Yes, I know. It's overload. Look, we're bombarded with images and information daily with all sorts of other things in our life. Do we also need it with soap? And I don't know. Look, there's too much information. And there is evidence to suggest that beyond a certain point, we drop off. We don't see things in the periphery. Things that might be important for this particular product falls away because we're just saturated with all this information, bombarded with information, and eventually you think, this doesn't make any sense. I'm over it. Sorry. Just give me Parasso White, thanks. Happens a lot. I've seen it a lot. Okay, what else? Who else do we have here? Dave James. Hello, Dave. How are you? I have a soap from a maker I always use and like. There is one soap from that maker which must have an ingredient that doesn't agree with my skin. Yep. It happens a lot. There's one particular soap that I have that I absolutely adore the scent of. Can't use it. I can't use it. As soon as I use it, I end up looking like a fire engine. I just forget it. It's too much. I just can't use it. And I know it's not good for my skin. It's not only the redness. I just know. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. If something irritates your skin, I know this sounds quite obvious. Please stop using it. Don't use it. Just don't do it. It's not worth pushing through and trying to be the guy that got to the top of, Mount Everest. I got there. I only have half a lung now, but that's fine. I got to Mount Everest. You don't need to push through. You don't need to persevere with things if they don't work for you. You don't need to persevere with a book. If you don't like a book, put it away. Life's too short, way too short. Don't feel bad about abandoning things or leaving things or not agreeing with people. If everyone says, oh, this is fantastic, and you don't think it's fantastic, I'm with you. I'm with you. Don't use it. Get rid of it. You don't have to use it. Too many things. Life's too short and there's too many products. Yes, that's all I can say. Look, that really is all I can say. Thank you for joining us on this live. I really appreciate it. I know it's a bit of an odd hour, 3:30, but it works for me. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to 6:05, live 6:05. It's now live 4:07. Wow, 37 minutes of pure entertainment and whiskers. Thank you for those of you that joined for the very first time. I really appreciate it. My heart thanks you, and I will hope to see you in the next live. Goodbye.